Hi Lisa, Happy New Year!
Hi, Happy New Year.
So you're back at work today?
I have been back at work today, all
Was
bright and fresh and ready and raring to go.
Did you do your 1 hour like you said you were gonna?
What 1 hour?
You were only going in for an hour.
Oh no, I didn't come home till 4. I practice getting up early again because you know what it's like after Christmas and everybody's off school and home, so everything's a little bit later and it's so dark in the mornings. So I set my alarm for 6:30 this morning. I managed to do my meditation, go for a walk, take Ben to work, come home, and I was still at work for 9 o'clock.
I bet Jeffrey, that's the dog by the way. I bet Jeffrey was quite shocked, wasn't he, that it was out
It,
in the dark.
it was shocked. It was shocked that it was out again tonight as well. It's my New Year's resolution to walk more. For anybody saw the other video, they'll know
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah. Well, my upped exercise regime starts on Monday. I know that sounds a bit weird, but because for me work's Monday and school's Monday for the kids, I do a lot of exercise anyway, but I'm training for this half marathon. I've set a goal and I'm going to make it public. It's a massive, ambitious goal. So I've done I've done a few marathons and half marathons, but officially I've done one full marathon and one half marathon for race purposes. And the last one I was determined to do in under 2 hours, and I did it in like 1 minute 59 and 57 seconds or something. No, I didn't do it in 1 minute. I did it in
I
1 hour.
would have said that is quick. Watch out, more
1 hour. 1 hour, 59 minutes and 57 seconds or something. Like, it was literally as I crossed the line, I thought, I don't know if I did that or not. No, I didn't know I recorded it, but I did. So this time I'm doing it in under 1 hour 50. So I'm going to knock a whole nearly 10 minutes off my time.
Amazing. I love that you put on our post as well. I noticed that you put we are doing a marathon. There's no
Yeah,
we.
were you there?
There's no we in that.
But when I said we, I meant the sober experiment. So I've got my.
Also, I thought you were all doing it.
You can. Do you know what? I'm doing it in Liverpool, and it's called, and I'm really excited about it because it's a rock and roll thing. So every mile is a band. How cool is that? Because it's in Liverpool.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah, so I reckon what we should try to do is get everybody along and just at every mile point get some supporters there with the bands, because it'd be really good. We can get a bit of support ramped up as we come through. So if you sponsor us on the Just Giving, and that's why I've said we, because I mean the sober experiment. So on my NACO top that they've sent me, I'm going to have sober experiment Alex put on it, I think. And everything we raise through Just Giving or any donations through our YouTube, we'll donate the lot to NACOA. And then obviously, if we can have a few supporters there selling some of our merchandise, we'll do some donations that way as well. So cool, looking forward to it.
When is it, Alex?
24th of May, the Sunday of that week. I think it's the 24th of May. So I'm starting on Monday my training, which I do like quite a lot of running anyway, but I am going to ramp it up because I want to shave that whole 10 minutes off. And yeah, by the time I do that, I'll be 42. So I reckon if I can shave 10 minutes off at 42, I'm quite impressive.
I think you will do. I'm just thinking though, I wonder if there's anybody that might be interested in doing the marathon as well, as a little bit of a goal or something to work towards. It's like,
yeah,
not something I'd be doing, but I'll definitely support anybody, and of course you, that decides to do it.
There, aren't we?
But it is quite a good idea. We're talking a little bit, aren't we, about Dry January now? So thinking of goals and things like that, some people might want to do that, and then.
Yeah, and I think if you do start off on our 30-day experiment and you're just doing 30 days sobriety, by the time you get to the end of January and you think, well, I've only got 3-4 months to train, it's another incentive to just keep you sober, isn't it? To keep focusing on. I know when I did my marathon, I think that was 2014, and I was at a wedding 2 days before, and that's probably the peak of my drinking because it was before I had my last baby, and it was my other two were older. So it was probably at the height of my kind of recklessness. And during that, well, I want to say 6-month period, but it wasn't. It was more like a 6-week period leading up to it. I didn't really, because I didn't want to ruin my chances of actually completing it. So I think that, yeah, it's another incentive. And if you've already got on the, dry train, then it's just something else to do. But yeah, what I'll do is I'll send you in our video. I'll send you the link for how to join up. So if anyone wants to join it up, we could maybe put it on with our YouTube link.
Brilliant. You know, thinking of that, Matt, you know, the first run I ever did, like big run. I've never been a lover of running at all. And I went and did it with a friend in Scotland. And my friend didn't drink that much, but decided that she was going through a rebellious period. So the night before, oh, are you drinking from our cup?
Yeah, oh, I love my
cup. but yeah, she was going through a bit of a rebellious period at that time. And she was like, come on, let's go for a drink. And I was like, no, we've got to do this 10K run tomorrow. And we was clubbing.
You said no.
I said no, honestly, I did. Well, I'm saying I said no, but I was still in a club at 4 a.m. knocking back Jaeger bombs. We had to go to the run. Oh, it wasn't nice. It wasn't. And how we got through that, I do not know. But I resented every fit, happy, healthy person there. I was like, ugh, it was awful.
Do you know, speaking of that, I saw something and I couldn't work out whether it was a real thing or just somebody's kind of slang for it. But somebody I used to go to school with, who I've not seen since then, but they put a post on Facebook and he'd actually put, I've just completed the hangover run. And it was on New Year's Day. And I don't know whether it's just gained the nickname, the hangover run, because it's on New Year's Day or whether... I don't even know whether, I've not looked it up, but maybe it is called a hangover run and people just...
I think I'd call it like the hangover walk when I used to do it.
Hangover crawl it'd be if it was me like that.
Yeah, be throwing up on the way. I'm saying that though, Alex, when I used to go out at the height of my drinking actually, and I would walk the dog the next day and I'd call it my anxiety walk because that filled with dread. I used to get up in the morning, get the dog and walk. I had this walk that I'd do to try and rid myself from all the anxiety.
Well, I can't promise that I've never done an anxiety walk, but I've done loads of walks of shame. And I've told you about one of them. When I lived in Cyprus and I actually fell asleep at my friend's house for an hour, I admit. I did feel like I'd been asleep. And I woke up in the morning and like in Cyprus, as you know, because you've lived there, the old ladies, and I'm not stereotyping here, it's the old ladies in the little cottages dressed in black. Sweep the pavements, don't they? They sweep the pavements as soon as the sun's up at like 5 o'clock. And I had to walk through this village about a mile in my heels and dress, all my makeup.
I know what you looked like with hangover as well. That would not have been a nice sight.
Wasn't. I've done a few of them. Anyway, no more because
no more.
This New Year's Day was my first sober New Year's Day. I mean, I've done sober New Year's Days as in I've not been drunk on them, but it's the first time I've not been drunk on the lead up, not been drunk on the night before, and I've had that kind of steady period of long-term sobriety. And I really want everyone to know, genuinely, it was my favourite ever New Year's Eve, and it was my favourite ever New Year's Day. I didn't realise so many people had a full day on New Year's Day. I went out walking on the edge, and it was packed. The car park was full, I swear. Up until just 2 days ago, I thought that we'd be like the only ones there and everyone else would have a hangover, and they just don't. Loads of people.
I know, it's proper shocking. I did the same on New Year's Day here. I went up to the res near me thinking, oh, it'll be dead quiet. There'll be just me and the dog. It was ram-packed with cars. There was a park run. Like they actually have a park run and not just a few people turn up, like loads of people turn up.
Full running squad.
Kudos to all them people that have been doing that for years and we've only just found out about it.
Do you know what though? I could definitely see the ones that were walking off a hangover that had been into it, and I could also definitely see the ones that hadn't had a drink, or maybe had one or two and the lucky ones, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was, honestly, it was and I said something really weird today in the cab. I think you'll get it because you know me. And sorry to everyone else that doesn't, but you're going to get to know me through these videos.
Yeah, you'll find out.
And I was listening to my cheesy music, as I do. I won't give you the names of the songs because I reckon you might just unsubscribe. But anyway, listening to my cheesy music, and I turned to my husband and I went, you know what? I think I've just found my soul. And he was like, what are you talking about? I was like, I think music is my soul. I really think it's like my proper soul. It really speaks to me. I can't imagine me ever saying anything that hippie-ish. When
I love that.
I knew you would. You're such a sad
I'm
one.
rubbing off on you. You know what though, Alex?
Speaking
You
of which,
saying
by the
that.
way, before you do, you sage. I did sage because of
Did you
you.
Sage?
Yeah. So you are rubbing off and go on. Sorry, I interrupted you. It's usually you that does that.
No, that's all right. I like talking about saging. Tell me about it.
It was just like they're good. Me and Leah did it. Leah's my daughter. She's 12, and she was like really excited to do it. I didn't think she would be. I thought she'd find it a bit odd, but she really enjoyed it. We were like saging each other, and then we saged all the people that didn't actually know what was going on.
Did you go around your doors and your windows?
All the doors, the windows. Yeah, it was like around all the tops of the walls, and I had to look up how to do it because I had this vision that it'd be like a bonfire or something, but it wasn't. So.
Oh no, I love that. That's my like favourite part of New Year's Eve. And last year I didn't have any sage. So on New Year's Eve I was like driving around Hebden Bridge looking for some sage. But this year I was well stocked, and I actually dropped some off at my friend Lucy's house as well on New Year's Eve so she could sage. It's so good. And if you don't know how to do it, look it up. It gets rid of all the negative energies.
Yeah, well, I felt pretty positive afterwards.
It does make you feel positive.
I think the act of doing it in itself, without whether there's any real effects, which apparently there are some sort of scientific kind of benefits.
I told you that, didn't I?
You did tell me that.
Scientist. I told you it was scientifically proven.
But yeah,
but speaking of, like you just said then, the just doing it and the thinking positively about it can make a big difference. And I think going into talking about dry January, that's something that I kind of wanted to touch on, is your mindset within dry January and the two different ways you can go into it. And I'll just, like, for me, I've always been someone that looks at the glass half full. Is that right? Is that the way the saying goes?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And I always try and find the positive in everything, and it's not always easy. Sometimes it's really, really hard, I think, to find the positive in things. If you've got a lot going on, but you've got to really, really find it. And I forgot what I was saying because I was twittering on.
Going into dry January, there's two ways of looking at it.
Yeah, positively. So you can be looking, thank you, like, what am I doing? So yeah, you can go into it thinking this is going to be amazing and focus on all the brilliant things that this sobriety can bring you. Or you can look at it as the darkest, longest, rubbishest month ever. It's up to you, isn't it, really?
But then it will be.
You are.
But then it will be.
Yeah, of course it will be. And if you try and find the positives, you're going to find the positives. You can't help it. If you're looking for them, you're going to find them, aren't you?
You do. And I think, it brings me on to, like, two things, really. So last January.
Sorry, I'm laughing at myself, like, completely going off track. Go on.
That's what happened to me when Simon interviewed us. And I was talking and I thought, I don't know what I'm saying.
Just trying to wing it, and you're like, no, I'm not going anywhere. Go on.
No, it's gone. Yeah. So I forgot what I was saying now. Oh my God, you and me just need to, like, stop. Yeah, last January in work, a couple of people said, oh, we're doing dry January. And they were like, they were doing it for charity. So they were doing it as a challenge. There was no intention there to stay sober afterwards, which I know with our group and our people, it's a little bit different. There will be a very large number who want to sustain this and maintain it. But there'll also be those ones who don't intend to maintain it and do, which we found at the beginning, didn't we, with a lot of people who in our group started off only wanting to do 30 days and they're still sober now months and months later and want to stay. So I remember I got to, I believe, well, I know I was drunk the day before New Year's Eve because there's a photograph of me on my phone with a cocktail like that.
That was probably your drunk face as well.
So there was definitely I would have drunk New Year's Eve because I was at a party. New Year's Day I wouldn't have had a drink. I know that for a fact. I wouldn't have had one. So that would have been my first dry day, but I didn't get to bed till like 6:30 on New Year's Day morning last year from the party. So that doesn't really count because I was drunk in the morning. And I was never a morning drinker, as you know. And the 2nd of January, I took a day off. And by the 3rd, and I'm not joking, I had wine. And I really was going to do it. I was really going to do it, but I just thought, I got to the 3rd of January and I thought, oh my God, it's ages till the end of the month. I'm not going to be enjoying this. Don't matter, I'll just do it at weekends. But I didn't. It just crept back in really quickly. Soon got over the fact that I'd been vomiting all day New Year's Day. Thrown my wedding ring onto the floor and smashed it because I have, I think it's titanium or tungsten, I can't remember which metal, but it smashed into pieces. And that was all because my husband accidentally gave my drink to his auntie, so it wasn't even major. I went storming up the stairs in a big like hissy fit, threw my ring on the floor, had a big stomp around. Then his mum came up, got me downstairs, and that was rare. It was rare, but it just shows I was a bit of like in a bit of a weird place this time last year. Whereas this New Year's Day, woke up, went for a walk, lovely family meal. Yeah, it was just amazing, and it continues to be so far. Wow. So yeah, positive mindset. But I think the other thing is, and I think this is a massive trap that people fall into, and this came from people at work from last year, but also listening to a few people chatting around the different social media now. They're doing it with the 31st of January in mind, the big night. You know, to break it with the intention to break it. So there's no like focusing on the now and the present. It's focusing on the end game of, yes, I'm going to get pissed on the 31st. I can't wait. And even if they do it like that, I just want to point this out because I don't want to kind of berate anybody. Even if they do it for that reason and then they start again on the 31st, it will have had some positive impact on them emotionally, health-wise. It's cut it out. And actually, without them even realising it, it will automatically cut them down because if you've not drank for that long, it takes a while to get back into it, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. They say around 6 months. The 30 days can positively impact you for a good 6 months afterwards. And I think that big night out that you're talking about, so many people do, then they wake up the day after and they're like, oh, this is why I've not done it. I'm going to chill out a little bit. So they tend to kind of pull it back a little bit for at least 6 months.
Yeah, and I think they say 6 to 12 months, don't they? Because if you actually go into it with the mindset of, I'm doing this, then I'm going to moderate and I'm not going to go back to what I was.
Like a bit of a reset.
Yeah, that will last longer. So there's the mindful drinking side of it, which we're going to have Laura on our podcast actually in the new year. So that'll be useful to talk to her about that because we don't actually advocate going back to moderation, do we? But they have methods to do that. So I think that'll be really interesting.
They do. That's Laura from Club Soda, isn't it, that we're talking to? But yeah, I agree. We don't advocate it, not because of anything in particular, is that we kind of do what's worked for us and, you know, go off the type of drinkers we were, so we can advise really well on that. Whereas moderating, for me personally, and I know for yourself, just isn't an option. I'm an all or nothing.
It just takes too much energy.
I'm actually at the point now, and we had this discussion on New Year's Day with a family friend who, you know, is still drinking, and they're like, well, do you think you'd go back to 1 or 2? And I can honestly now look at people like that and say, I don't want to. I just do not want to. Like, nobody's told me I have to stop drinking. You know, I'm really, you know, I decided that myself, that I didn't want to do it anymore. And I think so moderation for me would just be pointless. I just don't see,
for me it's not that it's pointless so much as when, as you know, I had a rougher, I don't mean a rougher ride than you, Lisa, because I didn't. I mean a rougher ride in terms of stop start before I eventually stopped. So I probably had about 4 day ones really before I knew that was it. And so I can kind of empathise with these people that go, I've failed, because that was me, you know, like I'd start with really good intentions, and then 2 or 3 days later, I'd start drinking again. But I have to say that when I look back now, my heart wasn't in those other day ones, so they don't count. It was never in it. I was either kidding myself or kidding you, or I can't quite put my finger on it, but I just know that those times I was never really committed to sobriety. Otherwise, I'd have done it. You know,
so what do you think was different then this time?
I think that for a long time, and we've talked about this, I knew that there was an issue, but a lot of people would say to me, you're not as bad as such a body, or you don't drink as much as such a body, or I'd look sideways at friends we've lost through alcohol. my own father that you know passed away through alcohol. So I was always comparing myself to somebody worse, and I do it like that because I think everybody's worse and rock bottom is different. So somebody that I felt was worse than me. So I could always find somebody who was more drunk, drank more regularly, drank every day or something like that. So I would kind of start off, and then I'd listen to other people, and it was usually people in my family that would say, well, you're not that bad, you can have 1 or 2. And I'd think, and I'd want 1 or 2, so I'd be like, yeah, they're right, and I'd do it that way. But then all the time through that, what I had was what, you know, Anna Grace talks about it, the cognitive dissonance, where my conscious mind was saying to me, yeah, you're okay, but my subconscious mind was just addicted. And like, I had an argument. That's what I would say. It was like a conference room in my head where I'd have these voices going, have 1, oh my God, don't have any more, go on, stuff it, have another. And it was just noise, constant noise and self-torture. It was just horrible. So for me, I could moderate, yeah, I did, but it was so uncomfortable. I'd kind of set back on the trail and think, right, I'm only going to drink Fridays and Saturdays. And for a while, I'd do that, and I'd have 1 bottle of wine over Friday, over Saturday. But not to stop halfway through that bottle of wine on a Friday night and not have it, I hated it. I wanted it all. So I'd actually go to bed in a really bad mood inside, because I'd think to myself, well, I'm not allowed it. It was me stopping me, but I'm not allowed it. I kind of almost be blaming my husband and thinking, in fact, I did, no, not almost. I called him the drinks police, if you remember. I used to say
yeah.
So I could do it, but to do it just cost so much energy and time and thinking about it all the time. It just became exhausting. So I either needed to just go and do it and stop arguing myself and just be a constant pisshead, which, don't get me wrong, I would have loved at one point, thought I loved. Or I had to stop and not touch it at all. And now I've rode the storm of the have 1, no, don't have 1, have 1, don't have 1. And I've just, you know, I've changed the way I feel about that. Yes, some willpower, and I think anyone who says there is no willpower isn't telling the truth. Some willpower.
Yeah.
So first week to 10 days, I think there's a bit of willpower. But then if you use our tools that we've developed together and change your mindset, change your outlook, and actually learn the science behind addiction, stop thinking of yourself as the problem and start waking up and seeing that actually alcohol's the problem, not you. You're human. You're addicted to an addictive substance. It's the same as cigarettes and nicotine. It's the same as cocaine. It's the same as heroin. And in fact, it's far more dangerous because it's legal and it's acceptable, so you can get it whenever you want it. Then, yeah, I think then you sort of think, right, this is not worth it for me anymore. And if I could just rewind and tell myself what I know now, I wouldn't have had loads of day 1s, because the grief of going through that, you know, like Claire Pooley talks about the obstacle course, going back, and another day 1 and another day 1.
I'm going to put that up on our group, because
I was going to say you posted a blog today.
It's so helpful.
And it's really hard to do that, because you're consolidating in your subconscious that you're a failure all the time. I'm having to start again. I can't do it. I'm a failure. And I think only when you flip that and start to tell yourself, I don't want to drink, or I want to be sober, or I want to get to where these people tell me I want to get to the nice green meadow with the fluffy bunnies and the nice weather.
Definitely.
And you get there, then you think, like you said, you look back now and you think, I would never, ever, ever put myself back there. I just wouldn't.
Can I just say, well, we're talking about that and them day 1s and the addiction to alcohol, is I believe that not everybody realises that it's an addiction, because I was a binge drinker, I never ever thought that I had a problem at all, ever. In fact, one January, my husband did dry January and I didn't, because I didn't need to. He drank a lot more than me. So I was like, well, I don't need to do dry January because I don't drink all the time. I don't have a problem with it. And I remember us going out and he was like drinking water and I was like, well, I can have a glass of wine because I don't have a problem. He does. And you know, looking back at that now, it wasn't until, you know, the binge drinking, because I was a binge drinker and not an everyday drink. There's no way I thought that I was addicted. And if somebody had said to me, you're addicted to alcohol, I'd say, shut up. Don't speak to me like that. I'd have been really offended. Like, if somebody had said it, I'd have been offended. And I sometimes have to catch myself on when I'm talking to people about the addiction side of it. And, you know, and something that I read and that really, really helped me is, you know, if you go out for 1 or 2 drinks and you are saying, right, I'm just going to have a couple of drinks tonight, and then you go and have like 10, 11, or come in at 4 in the morning, which was something that I would regularly do, then that is the addiction right there, isn't it? After that couple of drinks, you're not really making them choices. The drink is making them choices then.
Yeah, but I think that's what we used to do, isn't it? We used to and we'd tell each other the next day and at the time. So we wouldn't believe that it was the alcohol. We'd say, stuff it. We're making a choice to do this because we're having such a good time. That wasn't the case, really, was it?
Well, no, and that's the other thing, something that, you know, and I don't know where this came from or how we all got taught this, but from a young age, I remember people saying that alcohol brings out the real you. So I used to think that was because it, and I think it comes because it does give you that little bit of confidence, or, you know, I used it for social drinking, but I never realised all these things until I'd stopped drinking. Like, I never stopped drinking and thought, I'm going to stop because I'm anxious in social situations. I never realised that till months afterwards. So yeah, I think you kind of think, you know, you're a little bit louder or a little bit funny or all these things, so you think that's the real you. But there's lots of things that I definitely would never ever do nor want to do when I'm sober. I'd never do a lot of the things that I did. So that whole alcohol brings out the real you is just a load of tosh. But I just wanted to touch on the addiction side of it, because I think it scares people. I think the word addiction scared, and it would have scared me. I'd have just wanted to stop drinking because it was getting a little bit on top of me, or do you know what I mean?
But I think that's why Dry January is actually quite positive as well, because it is so inclusive. It's not just about the alcoholics, and I think it gives. And I say the alcoholics. I'm going to come back.
It's not about you lot.
Not about you. I don't. No, I mean, in terms of how we perceive an alcoholic.
Yeah.
So if you kind of stop in March time and you're going to somebody and you're doing an experiment, you might feel that people will view you as an alcoholic.
Yeah.
For no reason, you're stopping drinking, therefore you must have a problem. One of the things, I know you've had it said to you, Lisa, and I definitely have lots of times, is, well, why have you stopped? You didn't have a problem with it, did you? And it's as if the perception is you only stop if you've got a problem. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, people can't understand it. Well, like, why would you stop?
Yeah, exactly. And I think Dry January gives people who have genuinely got some concern about their drinking habit a chance to do it without judgment, because everybody's doing it. But I also think it gives people who don't necessarily realise that the alcohol has got them hooked a chance to do a dry period and then reflect backwards. So as much as I'm saying, you know, before to you, people who use Dry January as an excuse to have that big blowout at the end of the month, there are also those people who will benefit just because by the end of the month they think, oh my God, I feel so much better, I'm going to carry on. And then there will also be the people that have been secretly worried for months and months about their drinking and have wanted an excuse to give it up so that nobody asks them. I mean, one of the things we ask people to do in our group is to add our logo on their social media. Those people, and I'm not saying it's easy by any means, because at any point when you say, I am going dry, I am going sober, you're going to face questions. You are. Whether it be from your best friends or your partner or whatever, you're going to face, well, why are you doing it or whatever. But it is easier to join a tribe of people doing it. So, you know, if you've put up our logo today and you didn't feel particularly confident to say, I'm actually going to stop drinking for the foreseeable future, if not forever, you can say, I'm doing Dry January, or I'm raising money for charity. That might not be a long-term goal, but it gives you that excuse to do it.
And then at the end of that, we can even go as far to say like, oh, I felt so good, I'm just going to try it again for another 10 days, 20 days, 30 days, you know, and carry it on. But also, you know, like you said about different kinds of people stopping, this just came to my mind, but there's also the people that absolutely just thought, I'm just going to give dry January a go, and then by now, day 2, 3, are starting to think, oh my God, this is a lot harder than I thought. I thought it'd be a piece of cake, and I really, really want a glass of wine. Like, there's going to be a big proportion of people out there that are going to be surprised how much they perhaps do want a drink.
Yeah, and I think that's just to add to that, Lisa, that's why we're deciding, and this again, it's not for us to sell anything here, but that's why if you're watching this and you're one of those people who's struggling and you're on day 3 and you're thinking, you know what, already I'm struggling, I don't know if I'm going to get through the month, that's why we've extended our 30-day offer at half price, because we know there's a number of people who'll get a week in and think, I'm not going to be able to do this without a bit more help. So that's why we've extended it into.
It is definitely, and I think and I know it's ours, right? And it could be like a bit thingy to say this, but it's really good, isn't it? Because I think there's so much out there. You see some adverts for dry January, and I think they call them dry athletes. And it's like this big challenge. In fact, I'm going to change the name of ours on the website, because we actually call it the 30-day challenge, and it should be the 30-day experiment, because a challenge makes it sound like it's going to be really hard. It's got and it's willpower, and like what you said before, it does take a little bit of willpower, especially in the beginning. But what our 30-day experiment does is really help with the mindset so you get to the point where you're saying, no, I don't want a drink, thank you. And actually meaning, I don't want a drink, thank you. You're not saying, I can't have one, it's dry January, oh, I would if I could. You're saying, no, I don't want one. I just feel flipping well good. And I think that's what our 30-day experiment really helps people see, that there's such an amazing thing that can come from not drinking. It's not all about you're left out and, you know, things like that.
And I just want to say as well, because I know that some of the people I know, and I was one of them as well, up until quite recently, I would have really struggled to even find £19.99. I would.
Yeah.
But 2 things. First of all, if you can find that money and think about it, it's 4 bottles of wine. Now, I know I would have had more than 4 bottles.
2 if you're posh.
2 if you're posh. Because, you know, we know I'm
one if you're really posh.
I've never paid that much for a bottle. Anyway, it is money, but you know what? Investing in yourself and investing in that will hold you accountable, and it will make you do it. And that's really the reason that we charge anything for it, is because we've tried it free, haven't we?
Yeah.
And it didn't work. Half the people just drop off because they don't value it.
I think that's it. It's like what you said, they don't value it. And if anybody's like me, if you've paid for something, you want your money's worth. You know, people are going to all these slimming clubs, joining up at the gym. That's like that for 20, 30, 40 quid every single month, isn't it, that you're signing into? You know, this is $19.99 that is going to help really change your mindset. And if you are like me, you want your money's worth out of that $19.99, so you're not going to give up, you're going to blooming do it.
And if that still is too much, because I do know that it could be, the journal alone is $6.99, our journal on Amazon.
$6.99,
and that has the activities in. You don't get the coaching videos, but you can do it, and it will still give you a little bit of an incentive to do something every day, because you have to work at being sober. And I don't mean work at it in terms of like, I'm going to say sober, it's not like that. oh my god you do have to change. You're not going to get to where you want to be if you just do it on a wing and a prayer, stay the same. Your husband says it, doesn't he? If you go and sit in a barber's for long enough, you'll end up having your hair cut.
It's true.
If you don't change, if you don't make some positive steps, you will end up falling off the wagon, so to speak. So I think, you know, you can't expect to be able to go to the pub every tea time if that's what you were doing, and for it to be easy. It's not going to be. You put yourself through torture. I'm not saying after a while you can't do that. We go to pubs. In fact, I'll plug this while I'm on here.
Oh yes, come on, I'm so excited.
On the 31st of January, ourselves and Be Sober Manchester are going to the Ritz in Manchester, and it's a power night, and you can just get a ticket on there.
Power ballads, is it?
No. Power ballads or something like that, or yeah, I can't remember the actual title of it now, but it's a mixture of people. It's not going to just be sober people, but our group will be just sober people, and we're going on the
so don't be coming drunk if you come in with us.
No, don't, and don't be coming.
Just go on your own.
And don't be coming if it's something that you think might want to make you get drunk, or might make you want to get drunk. So only come if you successfully completed a good period, you're comfortable, you're confident. But please come along if you want to do, because we're in Manchester, and it will be a way of us. You'll see, we socialise just the same. It takes time, but you can do it.
Can I just say as well, it does take courage, and I know that it's not easy. You know, early on in my sobriety, if somebody had just said, come to the Ritz for a power balance night, I'd be like, all right,
you're having a laugh.
Yeah, all right. And because like I just said before, I drank for social anxiety. So I know how hard it can be turning up to things like that. So I just want you to know that if you do want to come to that, and you know, please let us know. We'll arrange to meet you outside or drop us a message, so you don't have to go in on your own, because I know how nervous you can get meeting new people. You'll feel at home in 10 minutes, 5 minutes. In fact, Alex, you came to when you came to your first Be Sober event, you was like a nervous, couldn't find the car park, wanted to have a paddy and go home wreck, wasn't you?
Yeah, spat the dummy big time. I really wanted to go home, and honestly, I met Lisa and her mum and somebody else who'd come on their own outside the door, and we walked in, and as soon as I hung my coat up, I was like, oh, this is nice, look at this.
Oh, you loved it then, didn't you? And I just think it's getting back, you know, be brave. Do it. Come out. We're all really nice. We'll look after you. Nobody will be left on their own. You won't be like, unless you want to be. But yeah, we'll look after you. And I think it'll just be so much fun.
It will be. It'll be great. So, yeah, we'll put the link onto that as well. I don't know where we're going to get all these links from, and I don't know if
yeah, we do. I like it. Yeah. Up there, down there,
like a big list. Are they all in our link tree? Oh no,
yeah, they are. They're on our Instagram profile, which is the link tree, so that takes you to all the links.
And we've put a link to buy the ticket.
I'll do something. It's www.soberexperiment.co.uk, and I'll put it at the end of this video. So yeah, go on there and there'll be loads of stuff on there.
Yeah, there's a page there with events, so we'll put the link on there as well to be able to get some tickets for this power ballad night if you want to get them. So I think, just getting back to Dry January before we finish, just some benefits. If you are considering it, you might just be watching this because you've not decided yet, and you might even be like I was last year, and you want to get through this next weekend before you actually commit to a month of sobriety. So benefits, first of all, within 10 days, you have to, first 10 days, depending on what type of drinker you were, they can be a little bit shitty, basically. You want to drink, you can't sleep very well, you might feel a bit anxious, you might have ups and downs constantly for 10 days. But past that 10 days, once the alcohol's out your system, because that's all it is, it's the alcohol leaving your system, which...
Especially from New Year's Eve, if you're out then, it takes a bit longer.
Well, yeah, I mean, 10 to 12 days, they say, before your last drink will leave your body. And that's dependent on, you know, that can be if you've just had 2 glasses of wine. So if you're one of these people that says, well, I don't need to do Dry January because I only drink on Fridays, well, basically, alcohol's not out of your system ever. So just, you know, think about that as well.
It's amazing that actually really, really surprised me. And I remember my mum saying, like, oh my God, I've had alcohol in my system for like 50 years.
Yeah, it's true. And I think that if you can get past that first 10 to 12 days, and that bit is the bit that, yes, you've got the initial few days that you've got loads of ambition and loads of motivation, and then for about a week you are on willpower. You are, you know, if you're doing something every day, like we're telling you to do on the coaching videos and in the journal, that will help. But there is a lot of willpower. There's a lot of having to stay away from old habits. There's a lot of having to prepare for triggers and know how to deal with them. Get past that 10 to 12 days and you will start to feel differently all over. So first benefit for me, and my absolute favourite, apart from no hangovers, which has to be a plus because I stopped walking around like that. Okay? I might do an impression actually. Can I do it?
No.
Oh, that was me. So
I remember though, honestly, you were like that, but I remember not being able. It's that crouching down, you know, like at my kitchen worktop trying to get a glass of water, but you can't quite stand up straight, can you? Why is that?
I think
do we
it's just
know?
because you feel so headache. When I stood up,
So your head's like falling, like so heavy.
You know, the last hangover, the day that I phoned you and I showed you that video and decided,
oh yeah,
I actually ate my breakfast with my face on a breakfast bar like that. Just to try to raise my sugar level. I'm not even joking. My father-in-law had made me a bacon sandwich and I'm going,
oh, that's disgusting. I nearly spat my brew out, which is cold because once again we've gone on for like
too long.
A lot of minutes.
So before we finish, no hangover, massive bonus. I have not been sick once since I gave up, which if you podcast, yay, massive achievement. I reckon I've been sick every year at least 52 times for the last 20 odd years. So this is a big achievement for me. Improved sleep. Cannot tell you. I like to have an early night, but I now honestly can go to bed at midnight and wake up at 6 and feel alive. And I spoke to someone, and I won't tell.
I'm waiting. I'm saying, please tell this story. Please go on quickly before we've got to go.
So on New Year's Day, I spoke to somebody who told me they'd been up in the night, and this is somebody who drinks, not a massive drinker, just somebody who enjoys wine when they're at a party. And this person said to me, oh yeah, I had a really good night last night, but now I'm whacked because I didn't get to bed till 2:30. And I was like, I don't think I got to bed till 2:30, and I was up at 6 walking in Alderley Edge, and I'm not whacked. Hangover.
It's that typical one, isn't it? We laugh about it in the office all the time because when we used to come in, if one of us had been drinking the night before, and you'd be like, were you out last night? No, I'm just knackered. I just didn't get much sleep. Like, I'm just tired.
And if you listen to our podcast, episode 6 that we did with William Porter, it explains that. So have a listen if you've not done. So yeah, improved sleep, massive benefit. That skin. You can go with this, Lisa, because I know it's your favourite one, and I don't talk about this really.
It's not even my favourite one, but it is a good one. Skin. What a difference! To be honest, it's not. I've always had quite good skin anyway. But not only a benefit, right, is that you have clearer skin, and after a few weeks of me stopping drinking, people would actually say to me, "God, you look really fresh and clean." And so obviously, even if you've got good skin, it gets better. It just looks fresher and brighter. But also, something that I did right from the beginning was self-care, you know, and I'm a really, really big advocate for this because I think you should look after yourself. It's really, really important that you do so before you even think about looking after anybody else. But yeah, self-care. So I spend time, instead of drinking, like doing a full cleanse, tone, moisture. In fact, if my skin doesn't look better, there's a problem. I don't know why. But yeah, you do have brighter, fresher skin. That's a massive, massive benefit.
I loved putting my makeup on New Year's Day and it not going.
I said that. In fact, I rang
did
my
you?
mum because my mum's sober as well. And I rang her and I was like, how nice is this on New Year's Day? I looked in the same mirror that I've looked in millions of times before, where I've put my makeup on and it's just gone, sucked right in. And I'm like dabbing him and dabbing her and giving it all this. And then literally you go out and it's gone. You're that dehydrated. It's
Skin's at it.
yeah, and honestly, I went out New Year's Day and I won't lie, I was a little bit smug. I was sat there thinking, I look
Look at
quite
me.
nice today.
But I think as well, more energy, you do want to do more because you've got so much more time on your hands. And I think this can be a benefit or a kind of a drawback, really, because through dry January, if you are giving it a go, you might find that a lot of boredom sets in, especially at the times you would have been drinking, because you're thinking, what am I going to do? Loneliness is another one. You hear this a lot. You know, I was a bit lonely, so I had a drink, and it's really, really common, and then you beat yourself up about it. But if you know these things, prepare for them. You do need to find other things to do. Get yourself a good box set. Get out. Get walking. Get exercising. Pick up some old hobby that you did when you were a kid that you thought you were long forgotten, and give it another go.
You know, in my early days, what I did is, I think I've spoke about this on something.
Podcast.
Yeah, I wanted to get back into art. I said get back into art. I was never very good at art, but I always wanted to be. I liked the idea of it. So I bought myself an art set from Amazon, got it delivered, like I got it gift wrapped and everything, wrote my own little note on it. But yeah, I got a full art set and I started drawing and doing pastels and just to kind of pass the time, really. And I think boredom, it can be really hard, but it can be really good, because sometimes you don't know what you enjoy. I never knew what I enjoyed doing. So I had to find boredom to then start thinking of things to do in that boredom. Does that make sense? Do you know what I mean by
I think
that?
it does. Yeah, I think it does, because I was thinking about this the other day, and you know, when you look back, and my kids do it now, and when you look back to the times when you were a child, you were bored at times, and you'd say to your parents, I'm bored, and they'd say, well, go and find something to do, go and occupy yourself. And kids are really good at it. They go and do something. They go and do something. What they're not doing is sat there thinking, I'm bored, oh, red wine, that's going to take it away, you know what I mean?
So it's a can dad.
So it is a positive thing, because boredom does help creativity. If you're not bored, you never become inspired. So yeah, make the most of the boredom. When you
another thing for boredom, listen to our podcasts. that not because they'll bore you, because they'll pass time with your boredom. Like, you know, listen to them. Watch these videos. You'll have a good hour now. You can do this for an hour.
This is definitely an hour.
We have look.
So anything else that I think, well, obviously you'll save money. It will change your mindset. Whatever way you do this, you can do it the hard way and tell yourself, I can't drink, and then have a blowout, but it will save you money. Or you can do it the easy way, which is, I don't want to drink, I'm not going to drink, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and focus on the now, the everyday, the getting through it, the feeling better, the benefits. Look in the mirror. Do you have nicer skin? Is your hair going better? Are you feeling better? Are you more energized? Do you suddenly feel inspired to do a podcast? I don't know, maybe you do.
Can I just say as well, it's not always all about looking better as well, because that, you know, I know a lot of people think, I'll stop drinking, I'll lose weight and what have you. Just be careful of doing that. It's a lot of it is the inside. You've got to work on that as well. It's like feeling better on the inside. Some people don't have massive transformations, or if they were like me, when you went out, you always took a picture of yourself with a bit of a filter on, or, you know, like all my drunk pictures are actually not that bad, apart from the ones that you got of me, because I deleted all mine.
You know what you do? Don't tell me that. You deleted all the ones where you look like, oh, like I did.
Yeah, but you keep them.
I keep mine and look back and go, oh my God, look at
I know, but then you keep mine as well, which has been a good thing, really. But yeah, it's not all about that transformation. You know, you will start to feel better, but don't worry if you're not finding, you know, like that you look 50 years younger in a week.
No, actually, I have to say two things to that, which is supporting what you say. I put on weight in the first few months because I ate more sweets and cakes because I had the sugar craving, which we talked about in our last video. But I also looked more rough for ages. I don't know why, but then all of a sudden like you say, people started to say to me, "Oh, your eyes look bright," and that's one thing I really noticed, and I still do. The whites of my eyes are proper white now. I'm sure they
I
used to
know, mine are as well. I think you just saw my contact lenses.
I think we just saw your brain when you turned your head.
You cheeky swine.
So I think that's it. Give it a go. You know what? You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, because I left you on the same question last time and I'm going to leave you on it again. But tell me what alcohol adds to your life. If you can do that, fine, you carry on. But I would probably bet, maybe not my life on it, but I'd near as damn it, bet a lot on it, that alcohol is taking away from you a lot more than it's giving to you.
Yeah, definitely. It does, definitely.
Anything else you want to add?
No, I think we should stop now. I've got to go and pick the kids up.
Oh yeah, better go then. All right.
See you later.
Bye.